You're listening to a special presentation from Night of the Living podcast, Zoned Out, the Twilight Zone, revisited with Joe and Freddy.
Joe and Freddy, Freddy and Joe. Hey, boy.
What's up?
I don't know where that came from. Yes. Hey, Freddy, how you doing?
I'm good. Yeah. I'm trying to remember. In first season, we had ironic wish fulfillment episode, at least one that I can remember, maybe two.
Yeah, the gangster.
The other place, yeah. And maybe that was it in the first season. But regardless, it's a recurring theme. And this is this would be like the second time it appears. Original air date, October 7, 1960. We're talking about The Man in the Bottle. This is the second of 5 episodes directed by Don Medford. If you want to hear more about him, listen to our A Passage for Trumpet podcast, which was a good episode.
Very good. Jack Klugman. Ooh.
Yeah, it was really, really sweet and moving. This one's written by Rod Serling, cast of 7, including Serling. Arthur Castle, the kindly, struggling antique shop owner. This is the first and only appearance by Luther Adler. He's the only Jewish, or maybe the only Jewish actor to have played Adolf Hitler 3 times. He played him in The Desert Fox, The Magic Face, and then in this episode of The Twilight Zone as part of an ironic wish fulfillment we'll get to. He's from a Yiddish theatrical dynasty. His family has been in the theater like 3 or 4 generations at least, I think, prior to him joining it. Edna Castle, this is Arthur's wife, second of 2 appearances by Vivi Janis, who was also in The Fever. Yeah, she was the wife in The Fever. She is very, very good.
She gives great scream.
She really does. Then you have Mrs. Gumley. She's the owner of the titular bottle that comes into the shop. It's first and only appearance by Lisa Golm, and that's all I have to say about her. Then we have the genie. This is the first of 2 appearances by Joseph Ruskin. He's going to return in season 3 for To Serve Man. He's the voice of the Canamet, the aliens. And you'll know it if you hear him, not necessarily as much in this episode because he's kind of doing a put on a little bit, but his natural speaking voice sounds a lot like the Canamet. I love that episode. I think that's a lot of people's favorites. He had roles in 4 different Star Trek series, including the original series, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise. He's the only person to appear in that many live action on-screen Star Trek performances. His film, I mean, as far as across series, his filmography is really nuts. I can't even get into it here. There's so much there, but I recommend you check it out. And again, his name is Joseph Ruskin. Then we have the IRS man. This is Olin Soul, who he's going to come back in season 5 for Caesar and Me. Just these 2 appearances, but he was the first actor to voice Batman in an animated show.
Oh, that's cool.
Super Friends. Yeah. And he did commercial voiceovers and stuff too. But the first 7 seasons of Super Friends, he's Batman. That's the old 73 Super Friends. The episode, the one thing I'll mention that I thought was interesting was the tax rate when they get into the tax situation.
Yes.
And I
was going to ask you about that.
I thought it sounded really high, but then I looked it up. It's accurate.
Is it?
For that time, for that.
Wow.
Because I think they would have been, you know what $1 million was in 1960.
Right.
Would have been a different bracket. Nowadays it would be drastically lower.
Well, yeah. Well, in World War II, it was even higher than that, I think. But yeah.
Yeah, I think the highest it got was into the 94%, I think is maybe the very highest it ever got.
That's bonkers.
Yeah. But so that's a very brief intro, but we will get into the episode right after this. Hey, Joe, you ready to get into the story of the man in the bottle?
Let's get in this bottle. Let's get this genie out of this bottle.
Got to rub it the right way.
Thank you, Christina Aguilera. The Joseph Ruskin is the genie in this story. He's got a very distinctive face, and he's one of those people who I think can play lots of different characters based on his look. But just it's so striking, and he does such a great job of being this, but we'll get into that. So we start out and we've got a couple running a store. It's an antique store. They do a little back and forth, and you hear that they're on hard times. They're 4 months behind on the gas and electric bill. And there's one of the little clips I noticed in the background here of looks like they did a quick insert of a scene where right at the beginning of the episode, he's talking about being able to pay the gas and electric bill, and he says, "Oh, I wish." But when he says that, the camera has kind of zoomed in on him. So I don't know if there was something in the background that they didn't want to capture, or something else happened, but it's kind of jarring when it happens. And it may have been an insert they did quickly after, of like what is that? Not foreboding.
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Foreshadowing.
And you know what? It feels, to me, it just played as emphasis. But I find it interesting that you're like, it feels like out of place to you.
Well, just the clip of the video seemed out of place. It seemed a little bit like a little on the nose for Serling, but it is, it's appropriate. So what's interesting about this too is you mentioned that he was the only Jewish actor who played Hitler 3 times. He doesn't play as, in a lot of these TV shows, this time especially, Jewish characters are played very kind of over the top, and the really strong accents, and the this stuff from New York, and and he doesn't. This is very kind of like, it seems very like real to life played. And so he doesn't overdo it. There's a couple scenes where at one point they're dancing, and you're like, that looks like, oh, maybe they're doing a little,
a little fiddler
specific
for you?
cultural dance. Yeah. But and just a couple of times, like the Mrs. Gumley, when she comes out, is a character who's kind of you can hear a little bit of her accent in her voice as well. But anyway, just thought this was kind of a cool story that wasn't overly pushed one way or the other. And so we have him wanting to pay off the bills, and he says, "Oh, I wish." And at that moment, an older woman comes in, Mrs. Gumley, and there's kind of a tension between them. So it's not like an anger, but it's kind of polite, but like there's, it's her again, And she presents him with a bottle in the midst of their conversation. And she's like, it's an heirloom. It's hand blown glass. And he says, it's worth nothing. This is a wine bottle. It's worth nothing. If you could take it back someplace, that's what they give you for it. Nothing. And she's like, I could probably part with it for $1, And he starts to protest, and she kind of turns away, and he's like, ah. And he rings up a no sale on his register, which I love, those old cash registers where it pops up a little sign of how much he did.
Yeah.
And he gives her $1, and he's like, look, I wish I could give you more, but here.
Don't you get the impression he's been doing this over and over again for her?
Yeah, totally. Well, not only for her, but you get the idea of like, he's just like, this is bleeding me dry, but he does it. And it's one of those things where it's like, it's nice to see somebody who is in a merchant role or a business owner role played for like kindness. Like, look, I can't do this a lot, but look, you gotta, here. And it's kind of sweet. And she thanks him profusely. She's so grateful. And then as she's leaving, she's like, look, I'm sorry. It's not an heirloom. I found it in the garbage. And he's like, well, maybe it will be an heirloom. He kind of chuckles, and it's sweet. It's very thoughtful and kind. And just then Edna comes down, and Mrs. Gumley leaves, and she doesn't set into him, but she just reminds him like, hey, look, we don't have any money to spare. And he's like, well, she's got to eat, doesn't she? And it's like, yeah, that's humanity.
Yeah.
That's like somebody who owns a business, but realizes that people, they're still better off than somebody who can't buy food,
And you get this impression too that Arthur never wanted this for his life to begin with, to run the store, but he inherited it.
Yeah. Well, he talks about his legacy of 100 years, how it broke his grandfather's heart and killed his father, and now it's his. He's like, and he starts this kind of a rant on it, and he's like, it's a mausoleum, a burial ground for people's hopes. And so he's kind of ranting and going back and forth, and he's frustrated, and he's like, what are we going to do? And as he's kind of flailing around with this, he knocks over the bottle, and the top comes out, and smoke starts emerging, and we get the voiceover. Mr. and Mrs. Castle, gentle and infinitely patient people whose lives have been in a hope chest with a rusty lock and a lost set of keys. But in just a moment, that hope chest will be opened, and an improbable phantom will try to bedeck the drabness of these two's failure-laden lives with the gold and precious stones of fulfillment. Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Castle, standing on the outskirts and about to enter the Twilight Zone. And go to commercial, come back, and out pops the genie. Now, this is cool. What I love about this is the smoke. They show this like the bottle on the ground and the smoke coming out, and the genie fades in super smooth. Like that. I know it's a film effect, but like it's not like you would do that modern day and it wouldn't look that good. It was just super cool. And he just appears, right? And they did the smoke just so that it covers it up enough, but it's not too much, and it looks like he really is just kind of apparating.
I love his hat. He's got a cool hat.
Yeah.
And he looks good.
He's very
in the
slick
hat.
looking.
Yeah. But
yeah.
he also reminds me a little bit of the Reverend character from Poltergeist 2.
Oh, yeah. He's got kind of the sunken cheeks and probably some acne scars or something or something. But he's just very distinctive looking. He's got that kind of shallow face.
I wonder if when they were making Poltergeist 2, if anybody, because those are like the Spielberg circle were all huge Twilight Zone fans. And you got to wonder, like, did they ever think, wow, this kind of reminds me of the genie from The Man in the Bottle when they dressed that character? Because that hat and the shape of him and everything else. Yeah. Anyways.
Well, just that look, that kind of, the suspicious, but yeah, very, very good. So he appears and he's like, hey, I'm here. I'm a genie. I'm here to grant you 4 wishes. And here are the rules. And he kind of outlines all the rules for the wishes. And Edna's still like unsure about this. She's like, what? And he's, Arthur is still unsure as well. And so they're testing it out. And he's like, she's like, I want this cabinet to the glass to be repaired. It's got a shattered glass cabinet that he has in the front of the store. And he's like, of course. And he kind of wings his hand down and it's fixed. It's funny. It's like a circle fade or what is that? Circle wipe, and it cleans it.
It's like what's the glass repair company that comes to you?
Oh yeah. Like Abra Auto Glass or something. Yeah.
One of those places.
I think they all do that now, but it was just kind of funny that for some reason in that moment, it reminded me of a Star Wars wipe where they do that. So he's like, all right, so, they did it and they're both kind of astonished. And he's like, what do we wish for? And she's like, Edna is like, Arthur, no, there's something unholy about this, which I was like, I love that. And I kept thinking as I'm watching this that you all, NOTLP did a special month on monkey's paw stories. And it's not quite a monkey's paw. So that's a different, some different beats in that story, but it's that kind of vibe.
It's in that family for sure.
Right.
It's all the be careful what you wish for. I mean, that's really the thing. But I think what sets this particular telling of that story apart is that it's got the most compassionate genie.
Yeah. Yeah. He's probably the kindest of a genie that I've seen, other than maybe the genie from Aladdin and Disney, but that's, it's a cartoon. And this is real. No. So he's walking him through it, and so he's like, all right, well, if that worked, Arthur's like, well, then we could wish for money. We could wish for $100,000. No, 200,000. He's like, $1 million. It's like, you keep going. So he wishes for, his second wish, $1 million, and it starts
just like Dr.
He's like,
Evil.
He says $1 million. And it starts raining money from the sky. And the genie's like, that's the easiest one of all. and all this stuff starts coming down.
They're surrounded by a bunch of rappers who are just flinging it on
Those dollar bill flinging guns, yeah,
them.
those things. Making it rain. And so they go to commercial, they come back from commercial, and Arthur and Edna are handing out money to people in their community. And this is like one of those, like, would you see that today?
No, they'd be
Like,
drinking Cristal, and
right,
they'd
and
be
lording it
yeah,
over people.
yeah.
And I don't know. There's something about this, about that time that, and maybe this is one aspect of something they really want to promote about the characters is they're not bad people. They're trying to legitimately help the community, and all these people come in and they're just handing them money, just like, hey, you need some, you go get that car, you take that trip, you do this thing. And it's like, oh, what a beautiful, beautiful thing.
It's like It's a Wonderful
Um,
Life kind of vibe.
yeah, I've heard that actually about a lot of musicians too, who like when they first hit it big, they're kind of like helping out a lot of people in their community. They're connecting with their family, like all that sort of stuff, where they really want to share the wealth, literally. And I don't know. I think that's a beautiful thing. And a lot of people, it drives them because they haven't figured out the taxes part of it, as because they're artists or whatever. They lose out on the money, or they go bankrupt because they've given it
Right.
all away,
Well,
or
they get so
whatever.
much right at the beginning, and they're still these bleeding, kind of in a beautiful, the best way, bleeding heart kind of artists. That's like you said, with pro athletes and artists, a lot of times that happens because they're and entertainers. It's professions that require more heart than brains usually, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, it's creativity and that kind of talent
Yeah.
versus the other,
I say
whatever
that
it
as a
takes to.
musician, no dig on artists. I'm saying that like
Not at all.
the heart is more important than the brain. Not that they don't have brains, but like the heart overrides
Yeah,
the brain.
right, right. The thing where you'd say, oh, well, we got to keep some of this for taxes and this and that, and or we got to set some aside for retirement. It's like, no, like people need money now, and it's true. It's not untrue. It's
J.G.
the balance of that.
Wentworth.
What's that?
You know, if you have a cash settlement, need money now. I think they had a running gag on Curb Your Enthusiasm. I think about that. The J.G. Wentworth. It's just a jingle
I've never heard that before.
for people who have cash settlements. It's like a daytime
Oh,
TV commercial, I think,
nice.
usually.
I love that. All right, so they're giving those money away, and then the last person in line is this guy with glasses, and this is the IRS agent. Hands them a car, and he's like,
Batman.
"Internal Revenue Service." Yeah, it's Batman, and he says, "Oh, I've just got to do some tallying here," and they're doing. This is the part where they're dancing because they're talking. He's like, "Hurry up, because we got to go off to Europe," and they're so excited. They're going to take this trip, and they're so happy, and this is where they're dancing. And then he kind of leans over and does the what does that figure there mean? Is he's dancing, and the IRS guy's just sitting down and says, $1 million, Mr. Castle, taxed on the basis of husband and wife and using the standard deductions, you owe the government approximately $907,000. And it's like, what? First, before that, the IRS guy had asked if they have any kids, and they said no. So it was like one of those, again.
Well, he said dependents, and didn't he say the whole neighborhood?
Oh, the whole neighborhood. Yes, yes. So that doesn't count. Yeah. Which is kind of, again, I love, this is that piece we talked about last week about Serling developing more ways to integrate the exposition into the actual story rather than just having it voiceover, right?
Yeah.
He's just said, not only do they give that money away, but they do kind of take care of the whole neighborhood. That's what that's the community, right? And so they don't actually have any kids, so they do care for the rest of the community in that way. Anyway, she says, what? And the IRS guy goes, oh, that's correct. And then in addition, there's a state income tax involved with using the thumb rule. The whole thing comes to a grand total of roughly, mind you, $942,640. And they're both just like, what? And yeah, and so they start immediately like counting the money to be like, we already gave a bunch of it away. Where are we at? And the IRS guy's like, so you have to fill out the form, and they're just like yeah, whatever. We're counting. We got to figure out how much money we got left. And so they're going through that, and he kind of leaves, and the IRS agent looks back through the window of the door as they're counting, and Arthur's like, goes and pulls the shade down and blocks him out. So we go to commercial, it comes back, and turns out they have just enough money to finish paying off those taxes and have $5 left.
Yeah. So they didn't even have enough left for the light bill after all, right?
Right. They didn't have money for their bills. Now, they were able to help all these people in the community, but they weren't able to even pay their own bills. So the genie reappears, and they're like, you lousy so-and-so. And he's like, hey, if you'd wished for more money with the tax implications included. And Arthur's like, you stole. I'm going to, get so mad. And he starts talking about how he wants to wish for more money. And Edna's like, no more money. Let's not do this again, And again, well, be careful what you wish for, because we're going to find some little twist on it. And
It reminds me of
the
subreddit malicious compliance.
Yes. That's exactly what genies are. They're totally malicious compliance.
Yes, 100%.
I love it. If you haven't checked out that subreddit, you're cheating yourself. It's kind of fun.
Yeah.
So Arthur's like, all right, I'm going to think carefully about this one. You're like, oh boy, you're gonna do it, aren't you? And he's like, okay, I want to be in a position of great power. I want to be the head of a big company. And Edna's like, well, no, you could go bankrupt. And they're thinking of all the clauses, or all the little escape clauses, or whatever, not escape clauses, but the conditions that would be put upon them. I'll be the mayor. And she's like, you'd be voted out of office. And he's like, okay, I want to be in a position of great power, a leader of a whole country, and who can't get voted out of office, of a modern country and a powerful country. And he's like, yeah, that's what I want.
So current era too, right?
Current era. And the genie's like, you sure that's how specific you want to be? Do you want to be more specific? He's like, okay, and it's got, he says the modern and all that. And he's like, okay. And clip to Arthur crying, his back turned to the camera with his head on the desk, and there's a Nazi soldier in front of him. And as the soldier sets a vial on the desk and leaves.
Here's an example of what Rod Serling hates about his own writing coming up.
Yeah. And Arthur spins around, and he's got the Hitler mustache, and he is Adolf Hitler in the last days of World War II. And they lay out, here's the cyanide for you, and we have gasoline for you and Miss Braun.
I love that when he stands up and delivers that, the dialogue is the dialogue in this scene that Serling would later become like really uncomfortable about. These sort of scenes he wrote where he's like, it's the end of the war and I'm Adolf Hitler and
I'm in a bunker.
Yeah. He's telling you everything he's already shown you, he's not trusting the audience. And he's guilty of that a lot in the early episodes, but in this one, it made me laugh because I just heard him talking about his own writing. And I'm like, oh, he's still doing it at this point.
He spelled it all out. Yeah. And so it's kind of interesting because they show him, he doesn't like immediately change things. He's kind of wandering around, and they do some interesting shots with the camera with like the cyanide bottle in the foreground. And he comes up and he picks it up, and he's got these kind of fingers, the kind of sausage fingers. And he's like, I don't want it anymore. I don't want any of this. I want to go back to my old life. And he throws the vial down, and it's the broken bottle. And he's back where he was. And his life is good. And Edna's right behind him. And he's like, that was it. The fourth wish. It's like, okay. And then he kind of starts talking to Edna. He's like, what do we come out of this? And they're starting to clean up the glass. And he's like, it's not so bad. This place really isn't so bad. Like, we've actually got a decent gig here. We'll manage, we'll do okay. And Edna kind of looks over, and she goes, well, we came out ahead. and they look over and the glass cabinet is still fixed, which is awesome. And he's like, oh yeah. And they're kind of smiling and joking. And he's finished sweeping up the glass and he spins around to put the glass into the garbage, and his broom handle smashes into the glass cabinet and breaks it again. And for a moment, Edna looks at him like, oh, baby, I'm so sorry. And then they both start laughing. And it's just like, yeah, like it's fine. We're doing just fine.
Who needs
We're happy.
a genie?
Exactly. We didn't need all those wishes. So he dumps the bottle in the trash outside, and they go back inside, and they're laughing. And in a very cool reverse effect, the bottle is reformed, and the smoke goes back inside it, and it becomes ready for the next person to pick up in, what is it? I think the genie said 100 years and 101 years.
Oh,
for the next person to pick it up.
I was kind of hoping the Pawn Stars people would come across it, and then Chumley could have wishes, and what kind of asinine shit would come out of that.
I want a peanut butter and banana sandwich. Here's a wish for a sandwich.
You're gonna wish the old man back to life, but he's gonna be horribly wrong. That's dark. That's a dark joke.
Now that's a monkey's paw, right there.
Yeah, that's a monkey's paw.
And we get the voiceover. A word to the wise. Now, to the garbage collectors of the world, to the curio seekers, to antique buffs, to everyone who would try to coax out a miracle from unlikely places. Check that bottle you're taking back to the 2-cent deposit. A genie might save you. The genie you save might be your own. Case in point, Mr. and Mrs. Arthur Castle, fresh from the briefest of trips into the Twilight Zone.
Nice. What a nice episode. You feel good at the end.
Right. It's a good, like, it's a cozy hug. It's a comfortable, and everything's, I wonder how they're doing now. Maybe they figured something out. Hopefully they did. Or they closed and
they're 150 years old.
Right. So next week we've got Nervous Man in a $4 Room, which I actually watched ahead a little bit, and I don't remember seeing this episode. It was interesting.
Yeah, I haven't seen this one in a while. It's like he's like on the run, right? Like a criminal on the run type of story.
Kind of.
Sort of.
Yeah, he's kind of dealing with some internal issues, we'll call it.
Okay. Oh, by the way, this episode that we just, there was one other thing on the Blu-ray I forgot to mention is they do the radio drama of The Man in the Bottle, and it's Ed Begley Jr. starring.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's kind of fun. I haven't listened to it yet.
Very cool. Oh, and the show advertised at the end is for something called My Sister Eileen, which I've never heard of. I just love that. They show like a little 2-second clip that's not even from the show itself, but it's like something they filmed specifically for the ad. It's like you would have thought that they would figure out that they should just put a little tiny clip from the show or something, but
Oh,
I don't know.
I texted you guys. I had stumbled across that they made that made for TV. Yeah, they A Stop at Willoughby, which is one of the greatest episodes of the Twilight Zone. They made a movie in 2000 or 99 called For All Time, a made for TV remake of A Stop at Willoughby starring Mark Harmon. So
Mark Harmon,
and it's on YouTube. You can watch the whole movie on YouTube. I haven't watched it yet, but I think I might check it out.
If anybody wants to revisit that experience, and
can't be that good.
And is a Willoughby fan, right?
I mean, I don't know. I feel like 2000 is a bad era. Early 2000 for movies for me.
Yeah. I don't know how you stretch that, especially that episode. I mean, yeah, there's stuff you could get into more, but it's like, I don't know. Twilight Zone, I always feel.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to dilute it, but who knows? It's got decent reviews.
That's just me too. I'm a giant short story fan over novels, but
I love a short story. If you can say it in a short story, say it in a short story. Absolutely. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you, Freddy.
We're at 30 minutes. This is an economical episode we just did. So
we zipped through it, but it's good. It's nice and tidy, just like the episode.
Yeah. I hope you enjoyed. We'll see you guys next week.
Thanks, everybody.